Hi, I'm Harley D, and today I'm going to be doing a love track spread and tell, breaking down a track called Energy. Just come out on Faded Audio on a future EP, so check that out and enjoy the track breakdown.
Move with my energy. Move with my energy.
Okay, so let's go over the drums first. Start with the kick. Let's have a quick look at this. So it's just a sample. It's been sent to the side chains, subs and the mids. A little bit of EQ on it. Remove some of the 100 Hz, get rid of the low end. Stop it from being boomy and interfering with the sub too much. See, it's distorting there anyway. It's being pushed into this chain. Let's have a look at the kick bus. So there's nothing on it. I sent it here to actually send the kick bus through to a bass distortion thing, but didn't end up using that in the end. So that's been sent through to a drum bus. We can have a look at that in a second. I'll go back over at that at the end. Okay, so there's a couple extra kicks that are different at the end before the drop, just to create a different sort of impact. But they're still sort of the same level. Let's have a little look at the snares then. So we've got this transient snare that I've made, already bounced out. I'll go through that in a sec. Layered with this characteristic snare, got a bit more stereo width. Hopefully that comes across in the video. Then I've used battery to actually find this punchy snare. So I just programmed the MIDI and put in loads of different snares until I found the one I wanted. Or in this case didn't want, because I wanted to go with something a bit more snappy. The punchy one just wasn't sitting right, but it did sit right at the end of the bar. So it's quite a useful way for auditioning snares if you set the MIDI up and just throw different snares into battery or any sort of drum sampler. So let's just have a look at this. So this, like I said, this transient snare, I've already made it and I've bounced it out and I've processed it again. Show you this here. So it's a bit flappy. I've just tied it up, used this pump feature to focus in on the transient. Removed a bit of sustain. This is what it'd sound like up. And brought the attack up. That's pretty much it. It's a really good transient designer. Got rid of some of the low end, tamed it a little bit. You'll see why I've tamed it a bit there when we go through the snare chain that I used to make it. And that layered up lets the character come through quite nice. Put it through to this bus and boost the mid-range a bit, just to bring it all together. Brings that crack out. Okay, so let's have a look at how I've done this this transient snare. So the concept was to get a snare and try and get rid of any sort of like peaks and keep it flat across this spectrum. Let's grab this one. See, it's pushing out quite a bit, like 2-3K there. So I've put it into this chain here. Turn it off for now. Send it through. Just turn it up a little bit. And then I'm going to turn it up and push it into the limiter, because this Spectral Dynamics plugin actually turns it down quite a bit. But what it does, it's like Soothe 2, if you heard of that, like a resonance suppressor, or like a multi-band compressor. So I've used the, I'll show you this. Just flatten it out quite a bit. You can use this, I've used this preset here for this purpose, but you can move the threshold down. There's a lot of different things this plugin can do. It's quite powerful. But yeah, I've just used this one here, which I found did the job I was looking for. Added a transient designer to bring the attack back up. Same thing I did on the post-processing. Bit of EQ, so yeah, bring out the mids, the mono part of the mids, and bring up the top end again, because it was a bit missing here. Even though this is a different snare I've thrown into the chain, this is just a clap. It seems to be working out. K-clip to bring some volume back up again. Yep, that's 5 dB. Another transient designer, some attack, shorten it, and clean it up. So I've used a low shelf and a low cut just to get where I've wanted it to be. Obviously you could change this dependent. And then it's actually worked quite good. And you can let the see, it sounds a bit crap without it on. So it's worked quite well actually, considering I've just chosen that random. Let's play it in context of the tune.
Moves with my energy.
So it sounds a lot better. It's actually worked quite well. But yeah, that was the concept of making this snare. Always do something different though. Let's have a look at the top end, all the percussion. It was pretty basic. So all the process is just going to be getting rid of the mids and any low end. There we go, lay it up with this hat here. Just to keep some equal brightness. Shuffles that I've took from breaks and high passed, or from different loops. I've used this shaker here, mainly because it's got a different sort of tone. I think that's quite important, not to just blur your top end with the same sort of frequencies. It's sort of like distortion thing. A bit of percussion. Have a look at that percussion in a bit. Glass percussion there. Just like a washy top end. I think that should be in the first section as well. And obviously this has all been placed in context, so it works well with the track, as I think it does. Let's play it all together with the drums. I've got this crash and this tom here, just to bring it in. Let's have a look at this percussion part here. So I found this percussion in a Sample Genie sample pack, and I just wanted to have a look how Monty had gone about doing this, which I pretty much understood anyway. So I've just monoed it, bring it over here, and created 2 instances of it, and panned one left and one right. So yeah, you can see the top there, he's got left channel, right channel, they're offset. So I've just took the same sample, cut one out of his, panned them left and right, and then offset them. And it creates the same effect. And obviously what you could do here is also turn one of the left or right down to create a more obvious effect. You could use this for a lot of things. Go too far and it starts to become a delay, of course. Don't know if that's coming through, if the video is picking up the stereo. But yeah, works quite well. Cool little trick to do. I wouldn't put it on too much stuff, but it makes that stand out the mix quite nicely. Tambourine that I haven't used, that's going to be in a VIP if I end up making it. And that's the drums. So some percussion is sent through to this percussion bus. It's got a bit more dimension on it. Stereo imaging, widening. So yeah, it's only some that are sent through. The rest of the top end is sent through to the drum bus. So everything is just getting rid of the low end, except this one here. Just opening up the stereo image on this one. I think that's it for the processing. In the drum bus, pushed it a little bit. I don't know why I've done that. Probably unnecessary. And cleaned it up. Yeah, so controlling it again. Pretty sure this frequency will just make it sound a bit too blurry. Just cleans it up quite a bit. So not too much on the drum bus, and that's about it for the drums. Okay, so let's go over the bass now. Let's I just play it first, go through everything that's in it. Right. Mute the synth. There we go. Right, so I'll just go over these little bits in here that are making the bass up. It's got this stretchy part here, which is just a sample that was stretched for this bit here. This one here is the main bass, but processed differently to create an overtone. Dun, dun. That was one of the patches I made for this. So here we go. This is another one that's just come off of that other one that I just played. And that's a variant from the main bass. So this one's a bit weird, but we'll go over that in a bit. So here we go. I've got a couple of bass effects. We just get it working. So the first one's to make a growl, and the second one's to make the growl have a bit of stereo information in it. Got to turn the effects bus on. So what you can do is like automate in where you want the effect to happen. You'll hear the stereo effect come in. Sounds pretty nice in context, that does. There's another little wow there. Alright, so it's all made from this one bass patch. Well, one bass patch with 5 different versions. So I'm not going to go through each version and how I changed it. You can have a little look at this. There's some good tutorials on YouTube that you can use to have a look at phase plant. But yeah, so resampling the 5 different versions of the bass that I've used here. I've come up with one that sounded like this. And then I've just from here cut this out into this sort of bass riff here. And this is a theme throughout as each bit changes. It's just different variants of this with different pitchings.
Back to the back caving up.
But the main thing is that this growl here is creating different tones at different parts without having to actually add any different layers. So it's just all of that main bass that's been sent through to the bass bus that's got the growl effects on, if that makes sense. So you see this bass bus here has been sent, there we go. Send effects there. Goes over to here. Note this one. And it's got all this processing on, which we can have a look at. So how we've made this growl. Let's turn it all off. So it's just doubling up the sound at the moment. So we're going to put the trash on. I've used this mild excitement and turned the mix down. I think I've pushed that a bit further too. So it's creating some overtones. But it's still got too much low end in, so let's cut that out. I've got rid of some of the extreme top end. Probably unnecessary, but soften it up a bit with a reverb. Not too much. And then this is the main plugin that's doing it, is to actually bring down the 100 Hz to about 300 Hz, because that's what's distorting the signal, and then boost the other harmonics. Haven't really changed the drive, but that's what's making this work quite nice. And then clean it up a little bit. The same harmonics that I told to bring down in that Saturn, reduced them a bit again, so it sits over the other main bass, and then that gets sent through to an effects bus, so I can send another effects on top of that, which is that stereo one, which gets automated in alongside up there. Let's play in context.
Back to the back cave in audible ministries. Like the abilities, actors, energy.
So that's the bass effects. Show you what you could do.
Energy.
So this is just automating the volume of the bass growl, and that's pretty much it for the effects, apart from this one down here. So this one's a bit confusing because it's got no volume. So what's actually happened, it's been sent on a post fade send to an effects bus. Let's have a look. So yeah, don't worry about the bus, it doesn't need to go through to that bass plus bus. It gets sent through to this mid channel, which has got, let's turn all of that on. So yeah, you won't hear it now, but it's a Saturn thing again. If we put this bass through here, I've really turned it down and boosted all the frequencies. It creates this sort of atmospheric. Yeah, it's got to have the reverb on first, otherwise it's very dry. So put the reverb on before it gets sent through to this, and it creates the sort of eerie atmosphere. And there we go, there's a bit of EQ before the reverb. So I've worked my way back on that bus there. Close that. Yeah, these bits here, no, yeah, this one here I've worked back after the sand just to boost a sound into the sand. Cleaned it up. So look at this. That's nothing, just in case it was clipping. A little bit more reverb. So yeah, some cool sound design. And this cool bit down here, which never got used. So that got sent through to that same atmospheric like mid effects thing. Same bus, same processing, and it's just made a pretty cool sound. All right, let's go over the vocals, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the track. So here we've just got a delayed one with a clean hit.
Move through the dance hall, contort with
There's
my
the main
energy.
one, doubled
Flaunting
up.
impartial, morbid, the penalty swarms, it's all never seen. Screws from the
The
lesser
rest of
seed.
them are just going to be
lessons leave lords with
volume
more enemies. Still back to
differences
the back
to make
cave,
ones quieter.
inaudible ministries. Lack the abilities, act
Some
to slap
reverb and
mini-me's.
delays.
Move with my energy.
Let's have a quick
Move
look.
with my energy.
Yeah, that one's just the same one, just a bit quieter.
Energy.
It's a bit of reverb there.
Energy. Energy.
That's the
Energy.
printed delay I made.
Energy. Energy.
So let's have a look. So yeah, some of them are going through to a vocal bus, but nothing's really happened there. Didn't need it to. There is this vocal effects chain, which is some reverb. It's really quiet though because the wide's probably set quite high. It's just got a
Move
bit of
through the
ambient.
dance hall, contort with my energy. Flaunting impartial, morbid, the penalty swarms,
Might
it's
not be
all never
noticeable there,
seen.
but it does add a
Scrolls from
little
the
bit.
lesser seed, ball store
bit more
lessons
width.
leave.
If I take all this processing off the chain, you'll hear it a bit more. But yeah, I've just focused in on this frequency. Yeah, and really boosted that plugin. So that's why it's turned down quite a bit. But yeah, this is where the magic happens in this chain. So if we let's turn it off and have a listen to the vocal.
Move through the dance hall, contort with my energy.
So it's pretty different.
Flaunting impartial, morbid, the penalty swarms, it's all never seen. Screws from the lesser seed, Borstal lessons leave lords with more enemies.
So yeah, you can
Still
hear
back
the
to back
ambience
cave,
that's adding.
inaudible ministries, lack the ability.
So let's go
act to
through how
slap
we've made it
mini-me's.
sound like this.
Move through the dance hall, contort with my energy. Flaunting
A lot more
impartial,
grittier,
morbid, the
darker.
penalty swarms, it's
Really
all
suited the
never
vibe of
seen.
the tune.
Scrolls from the lesser seed.
Let's have a little look. All right, let's start off here. So this one's
Move
just to
through
tame the
dance hall,
vocal how
contort
it was.
with my energy. Flaunting
Dynamic EQ
impartial,
does that pretty
morbid,
well.
The penalty swarms, it's all never seen. Screws from the lesser seed.
It's pretty basic there, but the this plugin here, the Culture Vulture, just adds a bit more grit to
Move
it.
through the dance hall, contort with
Turn
my
the
energy.
output level down though, because if you leave it up too high, it gets a
penalty
bit
swarms, it's all never
too
seen.
distorted.
Scrolls from the lesser seed, Borstal lessons leave lords with more enemies. Still back to the back cave, inaudible ministries.
So it adds a bit of colour into the vocal. OTT, always use this most of the time. Same thing,
Move
depth
through
down a
the
little bit.
dance hall,
Sometimes I
contort with
boost the
my
high
energy.
end.
Flaunting impartial, morbid,
just
the
flattens it
penalty
out.
swarms, it's all never.
We've got a Pro C. Just some
Move
settings
through
to
the
help it
dance hall,
catch any
contort
peaks
with
and
my
level it
energy.
out a bit more.
Flaunting impartial,
Decided
morbid,
to
the
use the
penalty
opto mode on
swarms,
this
it's
one.
all never seen. Screws from the lesser seed, Borstal lessons leave lords with more enemies.
So I'm
Still
just trying
back
to
to
get
the
any
back cave,
horrible
inaudible.
peaks just tamed. Decided to use this Waves plugin, which I haven't used in a while. But it sounded pretty nice.
Move through the dance hall, contort with my energy. Flaunting impartial, morbid, the penalty swarms, it's all never seen.
So that's a
Screws
bit
from the
more
lesser
stereo
seed.
width, a bit more depth to the vocal. Limiter's just made it a bit louder again. Here we go. So this is the pitch shifter.
Move through the dance hall, contort with my energy.
So that's really giving it that character. But I've messed with this grain size to get it sounding how I wanted. Turned the correlate off.
Still back to the back cave inaudible ministries.
And also that
like the abilities act as slap
compensation part to low.
Wild words swerve as I burst from your village beef.
And yeah, as you can see, I have automated this pitch shifter throughout the track. Here we go. So yeah, as we get to this end part, we'll just pitch it down.
Cursed with the superbest words in all of his speech. Beef cursed with the superbest words in all of his speech.
Yeah, down to -10. Sounded pretty good. De-esser, just to de-ess anything over 8K.
The dance hall contort with my energy, flaunting impartial, morbid the penalty swarms.
It's very subtle. A couple dB gain reduction. And then we got this tape stop plugin, which I don't think I've used, but what it would do.
Through the dance hall contort with my energy, flaunting impartial, the penalties.
You just automate this button here on and off.
Enemies still back to
Do some cool bits.
Like the ability.
These kilohertz plugins, really creative. So now, a little bit of taming, top end again, just to hear where it sounds like it needs it. What else we got? Get rid of some low end, little boost. Then this MV2 compressor, really good for bringing the vocal up in the mix. Show you. Push it out. But I chose to not push it too far, and I've used a double on this one. We'll go over that in a second. And just a little cut there, put the vocal effects in, and that's giving me that vocal. So then yeah, I've decided to bounce that vocal out there and double it up. There was a little bit of different EQ on this, so just creates a different sort of frequency over the top of it, pushing out the mids a bit more, so it's bringing the vocal up front, and that sits above the main process one. And yeah, it just really brought out the mix. I could have used that MV2, but I've done it like this. So all these are just different little edits. Reverb, that one there's just a bit quieter with reverb over it.
Energy.
Nothing special.
Energy.
And then a delay with a printed delay on top of it. So not too much really going on. I usually do a lot more vocal tracks than this. But yeah, that worked pretty well. I suppose the vocal's really going throughout the track, isn't it, at the start, so it doesn't really need too much. I got this here, found that in Arcade. Just a sample again from Arcade. Alright, let's have a look at the rest of the track. I'll start off with this pad. Another bit from Arcade that was found in the same sort of package with that. A little bit of vocal we just played. Got this other little harmony that builds up with it. Just used a tuner to pitch this up and down into the same key. Then I put the tape stop on that pad and just automated it there before the drop. That worked really well. What else we got? Another sound from Arcade, which is just I've repeated it and put crystallizer on it. And I have also put Serum Effects on. LFO1, if you turn note latch, you can use the LFOs on different parameters on a sound on Serum Effects. So I'm automating it over 16 bars for the low end to come back in. And I'm making this movement with a filter on LFO2. Or vice versa even. LFO2 on the EQ, LFO1 on the filter, that's right. Bit of reverb and a bit of hyper.
Wait for you there.
vocal pretty nice. What else have we got? So just little bits of atmosphere that sit underneath the track. Not a lot going on there. Not much to say about these. They're just some nice clean sweeps and bleeps that I found, and a couple of reverses. Some impacts to hit on it. It's really just building up a soundscape. It has quite a lot of full frequency in. Probably put a bit of echo bar on this one here, just give it a bit more, a bit more tail. And altogether it does create quite a nice soundstage. These little glitches, they happen throughout the track too, before the drop. Bit of reversed reverb into a glitch. What's we got? Just all these different little variations of glitches. Which can be found through Foley, effects, sound, just being creative and looking for them. So this was just a bit of noise Foley into a beep. It's probably just got loads of low end rumble, And it's just using them creatively around the drums and around the bass. That's probably the most important part of this. And other than that, that's the track. I'll show you through the master bus. That's what it sounds like without the master bus on. Probably a bit dull. So I can go through this quickly. So I've decided I always do different sort of techniques in every tune. In this one I've used this Magic Mastering preset, and then I've used an EQ. See, it's looks like I've done a lot, but it's only up to like 1 dB, 2 dB, minute changes. Just so that when I'm using the headphones I've got, or the speakers, I can just hear the bass is coming through a bit clearer. So that imager there, it's not actually doing the whole track, it's just making the track a bit more mono for the drop.
Like the abilities, actors slap mini-me's. Wild words swerve as I burst from your village beef. Move with my energy.
So when it comes back in, it's got a bit more impact. And you can do that with the output level too. I tend to do it on a Pro EQ first. So you can turn it down for the drop. Just gives it more impact again. You could obviously go really minute, just a decibel from 41 to 49. And when it comes back in, it's a bit louder. And I've used K-Clip. And at this point here, didn't think it was bright enough. So I've put another EQ on top of this to bring out the low mids again and brighten the tune up. It's only up to about 3 decibel, but it just felt like it needed it. Same there. So it's just using my ears really. And then after that K-Clip, bring the level up a little bit more until I was happy with it. At this point I'd look at span, see if my bass is hitting around about -6. Size to load. I like to keep the top end not going above -36. Bass harmonics between -24 and -18 if the sub's playing. Depends on the tune. But I've also got it set up so you can see this pink bit underneath the green. That's my stereo, my side, pretty helpful. And that's about it.
Move with my energy. Move with my energy.